Hey, what's up, nerds? My name is Bubba Stallcup, and I am joined here with Matt Warmbier, my bro.
We're here. We did it.
We are here
together.
And we're going to be filming a bunch of these, so if you see the same backdrop, this is our brand new banner behind us.
Just love it. That's all you can do.
Love thy nerd. Guys, you are watching the Beard Bros game show, and we have been out of pocket for a while, but we're back, and like I said, we've got a bunch of games that we're going to be talking about. We're hoping to do several here while we're together. And the first one that we want to do is a game by Kara Games, and it is called Commissioned.
Yes.
And this is a really great game. We like to talk about it as reverse pandemic.
Yeah, and I think when you explain that, it's hard to kind of understand what that means until you, I don't know. I get it, but I don't. I'm like, okay, what does that mean exactly?
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely.
I mean, if you don't know what pandemic is, that's kind of the starter game that we like to start people off with. Not with necessarily like Monopoly or Catan or anything like that.
If you're a jerk.
I really like to start people off with pandemic because I think that that's the next step outside of your sorries and your troubles and your monopolies and stuff like that. It gives you brand new game mechanics and it launches you into the new wave of board games. It makes
people really angry.
Yeah, it does do that.
So
well, but that's not my fault, though.
Well, you're like, I could give him Monopoly and make him really angry. I could give him Pandemic and make him really angry.
And I will have more fun with Pandemic.
Right, exactly.
So when we say this is reverse pandemic, in the game of Pandemic, what you're trying to do is you have a whole bunch of cubes that are all over the board, and you're actually trying to eradicate all of the disease off of the board. With this game, what we're actually going to be trying to do is get all of these cubes spread across the board. So it's reverse pandemic. We're doing
you got it.
We're doing the absolute opposite of that. But like we said, this game is called Commission. It's by Kara Games, and these are some great friends of ours and wonderful supporters of Love Thy Nerd. That's not why we're doing this.
Oh.
We are doing this because this is actually a game that has not received nearly enough press. It has received quite a bit of it, but not nearly as much as it should have. So we're going to walk you through, as we do here on Beard Bros, and we're going to show you the components. We've got the board laid out here, and I think we'll do a mock turn and kind of show you what gameplay will actually look like. And then you guys, Matt, you and Aaron are going to be doing co-optional, still doing that, still rocking on that, and you guys are going to play this game, and then we'll give a copy of it away, just like we always do. So why don't you kind of walk us through a little bit about what Commissioned is?
I think the first thing that draws your eye in is this map here. This map is actually a really old Roman map created by it's in this one. Created by a guy way back when in the Roman. His name was Agrippa, Marcus Agrippa. There it is.
Our old buddy, Marcus Agrippa.
Old Marky Mark. So the Romans.
Before you get too far,
go ahead.
Like this is the appendix, and a lot of games have an appendix book. There's a rule book here and then an appendix. And what the appendix is going to do for you is it's going to give you both historical and biblical references for the things that are in this game. Because what we're doing is these little white cubes we're trying to spread Christianity across the known world at the time. And so we're going to talk about that here a little bit. Even if you're not a Christian, we promise you that there are things that are in this game that you can get out of it, and you can still enjoy playing this game. But that's the theme, and this is the theme appendix. So it's going to give you the historical reference, like you're talking about, Marcus Agrippa.
Which I think is awesome.
And it's also going to give you the thematic biblical reference with passages from the Christian Bible in here. So
So like Bubba said, you're really, in this scenario, and there's 5 different scenarios, you are just trying to get a church in every city on the known world. And it is not easy because every turn, and if you're playing with 2-player twice, you are drawing these trial cards here, and these trial cards are killer.
Yeah, it's literally trial by fire.
They're trial by fire, and I actually took the harder ones out of this deck because there's a martyr.
Thank you.
Thanks for
you. So it's
just I know like easy ones like no moving, and if you're supposed to spread the church, it helps to move.
Yeah.
And you also get to the point where you're eradicating or getting rid of either a church member or these other meeples are missionaries, and missionaries are important for movement. Because missionaries, they help spread the church, and churches can't spread if they don't have an apostle or a missionary. And there's more. They're stopping you from growing. They're stopping you from moving. Really awful stuff. And I think you mentioned one of the cards you had when you played was a flood, and just kind of like, and it destroyed you because you weren't spread out enough.
Yeah, we stayed, when my wife and I and our family played, we stayed right here in this, because we played the same scenario that we're about to show, and we didn't go out fast enough and spread. We wanted to kind of build up, like, you know, kind of like this is Australian risk, and then we're going to go out from there. You don't want to do that in this game. You want to move.
You've got to move. And the ways to lose is if you run out of these trial cards. There's only 21 cards here. Or if ever you remove one of your church cubes from a city, either voluntarily or from a trial card, one of your candles are extinguished here, and you can see that we have these five candles here. As soon as all 5 of those are gone, you can lose that way. So this game is not easy.
Yeah, you can only lose 5 churches.
5, and you have to be very thoughtful. You have to be very efficient. You have to be very quick. But we can talk about kind of the turn order here. The game is a deck builder. It's not necessarily a traditional-ish, because a lot of deck builders, you draw up to 5, you play your cards, and then you discard what you didn't use, or even the ones you did use. With this, you're drawing 6, you're playing 2, you're keeping the other 4 in your hand for another turn, playing 2 more, and whatever's left in your hand, you're going to use that to purchase more cards. So we can do a quick go through here. The boards, when you play, you choose one of the apostles. I'm Andrew right now. Bubba is, I think, Peter.
I'm Peter.
You have James, you have Paul, you have John, you have Barnabas. And I know that they're working on
there's an expansion coming out.
And I don't know exactly what that's going to add, but you can be on the lookout for that.
There is an episode of Humans of Gaming where they talk about it. So go back and look for the episode with Pat and Kat Lysite.
Yep.
And
So on your turn, you're drawing 6. And you have 6 of your apostle cards. You add 2 more of these 2 faith cards into your deck randomly. So
you can see that they have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and these are levels. And also when we get to the buy phase, this is your money purchase price.
So after we have drawn our cards, we then do our trial, which we already know this one is. Oh, actually, I mixed it up. This one says.
So much for rigging it.
I know. Well, I shuffled a bit. This one says it's a drought. And we're losing either a church or an apostle in every church in the region. It's kind of nice for this first one because we only have one, so we do not want to lose these bros.
We'll lose a member.
I'm so sorry. And we didn't mention this, but the elder staff here, that determines where the trial occurs. And this kind of goes back and forth. The elder kind of makes the decisions every round.
Now, does it act? Is it a first player marker?
Sort of.
So on your turn you have the staff, and on my turn I have the staff.
Yes, okay. Now we're going to play our cards. And this will kind of explain a little bit. I'm just going to choose a couple random ones here. I won't really look at that. So we're playing our cards. In your first game, I wouldn't recommend doing this. In your later games, if you want even more of a challenge because it wasn't challenging enough, you can then roll the die here. And the die, depending on what you roll, can be fine, or it can be not great, because you're getting to the point of the round where you're going to want to actually be able to talk about, like, all right, what's going to be good here?
Yeah. So you rolled an 8.
I rolled an 8.
And this is the message die.
I think 8 is nothing.
Message arise. Yeah. Players may talk with the elder during the share, move, and grow actions.
So the elder is the one who's going to decide what cards to choose during this part of the round. So if I roll an 8, we can both kind of discuss it. We're mutuals here. If I had rolled a 3, we can't talk, and I'm on my own. So we're going to flip our cards over, and Andrew adds churches to where I am. You drop cards. I'm typical Peter, dropping cards when they're gone. Another thing we didn't mention that makes this game even a little bit more, like trying to get all the churches on the board, but we're also trying to get the 9 spots there for books of the New Testament.
Yeah, we're trying to build the entire New Testament.
Yeah.
But you'll see there are not that many slots on here.
9, right?
They're stacked. So
which is fine, but then it kind of limits, because if I would choose Bubba's card. He has Matthew and Mark, and I would put Matthew and Mark here under the board, but now Bubba's a card less.
Yeah.
But we do need to have that, and I would choose add a church to where I am, boom, did it. And then any cards that you used or were left over, you move it to your discard pile. And so that was the share part of it. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to move. I think probably the most confusing part, at least for us in this, was the movement phase of this. There's two different types of movement. There's mission movement and there's fellowship movement. So if you think about like mission spreading, like a church doesn't move itself to another area. You have a missionary moving churches or moving people and creating a church.
In the Christian world, we would call this church planting.
Yes.
Like that's what's going on.
So if I wanted to move into another spot here, and this first round's a little bit different, I have to have at least 4 tokens, pieces in a location, and I can move to another city adjacent. And right now we're in Jerusalem, although it doesn't look like we are.
We're hanging on the outskirts.
We can move to another city as long as a missionary or an apostle do the moving there.
Yes.
And now later in the game, we're free to kind of move between them easily, and that's called a fellowship movement. So if I wanted to move one of my churches from I can't read it upside down, Samaria down here, I could do that because there's already a church planted there, so they're free to move back and forth. That's the fellowship movement. Honestly, it doesn't sound that complicated, but when you're in the game, you're like, all right, can I move that there?
Who can do what?
And the more you play, the more you're kind of like, all right, I got this. It's not a big deal. There's a little bit more of a twist when you move onto boats, but we don't have to talk about that. You can look at that in the rules for yourself.
Yeah. I think you lose a movement or something like that. But just don't get bogged down, because you need to understand that like every game is going to have a different way you move or a different way you attack or whatever. And so when you're playing a game, don't get bogged down. Well, I got to learn another thing. You're going to have to do that with every game. I remember when we started playing Root, and it's a completely different system.
That's like all over.
But once you learn it, it's like one of the greatest games.
I think by the end of half the trial deck, you got it, and you realize you probably should have moved faster. At least at first, you've got to move.
Your first game,
you're learning everything.
Yeah.
So after we move, we grow. We're going to add a church cube to anywhere that has 3 or more pieces. And then we would go through this whole live phase again for a 2-player game.
Without redrawing.
Without redrawing. So then you play a couple more. And whatever cards you have left at the end of that live phase, that's your purchasing power. So in my case, I'd have 3, and I could either purchase one from the 3, a couple from here. If I decide to pick just one 3 card, I would actually draw 2, choose 1, put the other one on the back and the bottom. That's kind of the basic overview of the game. Turns can go pretty quick. The trial deck is what really, like, it changes the game. And I think that's the point of it. Like, it's really trying to take that historical piece. Like, the church was trying to spread, but there was this constant trials against knocking back, droughts, martyrs, etc. But I love how historically accurate this game is. I don't know. I'm just really interested in that time period. So this just draws me in. And the fact that almost all of the cards you play with have a scripture reference on the bottom from where they came from or why this card's in the deck.
So down here at the bottom, it'll have the reference here. And if you go into the appendix, you can actually look up the faith cards, and also you can look up the trial cards. And if you don't have a Bible, or you don't just want to get it out or whatever, the scripture reference that it's talking about is right there for you to read. And so, I mean, even if you're not a person of faith, you can kind of understand what's happening and what they're trying to get across with the gameplay.
I think it really just enhances the theme, and I'm all
it's
about
the lore.
theme. Yeah, I'm all about theme and lore in a game. I don't think there's one thing we didn't mention. Like, if you are not a Christian, or you don't, I don't know, you don't have to be a Christian to enjoy this game or to play this game. You don't have to know jack squat about Christianity or, early Christianity.
This is not Bible Trivial Pursuit.
No, you are, honestly, if you just think you want to play a fun game that's a challenge, like, this is it.
Yeah, it's going to be hard.
It is going to be hard and enjoyable and rewarding when you actually finally do it. So I think just like those of you watching that aren't Christians, like, this game can still be for you.
Oh yeah.
We also, like, I think we were talking before, like, we also think this game is a shoe-in easy game for homeschoolers because of the historical accuracy of it, like, especially like Christian homeschoolers, because you'd be like, all right, well, this card, says hide from persecution. Let's look up that scripture. What does that say?
Yeah.
Why is that there?
And that really hits home for both of us. Literally hits directly at the home.
Right in the heart.
We both have, homeschool kids and Christian homeschool kids. So being able to pull something out like this, really, it tickles a lot of good things for us because it allows us to get games in our home, and it allows us to get games as part of the schooling for our children.
Absolutely.
Which is huge wins because a lot of people are trying to, paint games as like just something that kids do and there's no value in it and whatever. But if you can show people, hey, this is what this game is doing, and it's actually feeding the mind of my child, and it's allowing them to grow, in our case, not just mentally, but also spiritually. But even if you're just doing, like, you're going through and you're homeschooling kid, or you have a kid that's studying ancient Greece in school, you can pull this out and you can say this is a part of history. Whether you believe what we're calling here the lore about the game or not, it's historical fact that this happened, and that can kind of help you understand better this period in the world. So.
Yeah, and I will say the last scenario actually uses the other side of the board, and what Pat and Kat were saying, it's kind of it's basically Acts 2. It's kind of the story continued, the going out into the world, which I just find super fascinating because you can't, like, it's hard to find a lot of information, history, like, of what was going on then. So I really appreciate that.
And I can't wait for the expansion, commissioned in space. Right?
Commissioned again. Let's do it one more time.
Commissioned to Electric Boogaloo.
That's right. Who else is this game for?
I think it's for so many people. We said history buffs. We said homeschoolers. I played it with my father-in-law, and he also really enjoys the other game that they've done, Soul of the Empire. Their other massive game, asymmetrical game. And because he's a huge, like, a war buff.
Right.
And so he really, Christians, been a Christian his whole life, so he understands the context of the things that are happening in the time period. Right. And also just it lets you, and it lets him specifically appreciate just how difficult it was for that thing to happen. Right. Like, you are now in control of something that happened in history, in the same way if you were playing Risk or a real time, a real world game, you can make it happen different because you made different choices and all sorts of stuff. So he really appreciates that. Honestly, man, I think it's just for anybody who wants a challenge. Like, if you think your games are too easy, I double dog dare you to pick up Commission.
I would call this a light deck builder. Like, the deck building aspect isn't super, like, it's not hard to pick up on, but then your choices are vast. Like, you have a lot of choices to make. So
it's pretty unforgiving. And that's, I mean, like, we keep saying, oh, your homeschool kids and yada, yada, yada. It's not a children's game.
No.
It is a game
it's good.
Kids could play.
It's good for kids to lose. Like,
Not my kid. Dang, dude.
No.
Caleb hates to lose.
Well, I mean, Avon doesn't like to lose either, but I have been, like, going hard on him since he started playing games. Like, I'm not letting you win. Like, you have to earn this. Like, I'm not going easy. Like, you losing is good. It's good for all of us.
Dude, Caleb, we've been making games over the last several months, and I'm beating him at his own game, like, literally beating him at his own game, because I'm with you. I think it's good for kids to lose. so long as they lose like in the right capacity. And
Right.
Stuff like
Yeah.
that.
I'm not like
learning how to
making
lose
him
well.
cry. I'm not making him
Yeah.
cry, but like we shake hands at the end. Good game. Like, you know.
You make him congratulate you.
I don't make him like good game.
Kiss
like,
my ring.
It's always like
Yeah.
that's what like it's always, hey, good game. That was fun to play.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter if we win or lose. Like it's like that's it. Like I think it's harder when you get into like games that are longer and they're more invested, and then they lose. I think that's when the tears can happen.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's neither here nor there.
It may be here, yeah, but I don't know, man. Like, I honestly, this is one of the games that I appreciate having in my library. This is your copy.
Yep.
I have my copy back at home, and it is ready to go at a moment's notice if somebody wants to play something that's highly thematic. So that's when they pitched this game at a couple of conventions when it first came out, when they first were developing it rather, and the publishers loved it.
Yeah.
They wanted it, but they wanted to reskin it
Yes.
as a zombie theme. And if you think about it, it could really work
would've worked,
as a
right.
zombie
It
theme.
would've
Like
worked.
you're trying to spread the zombie horde, all that. You know,
But that's not why they were making
it's
it.
not what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And again, on that Humans of Gaming episode, they talk about that. But this is specifically thematic on purpose, 100%, without a shadow of a doubt. They were trying to do this thing. And I think they did it well.
Yeah, I agree.
A lot of
really
times,
well done.
I mean, let's just speak truth here, man. Like a lot of times, you have games that are Christian games. Like I said, it's like biblical Trivial Pursuit and
Bibleopoly.
Bibleopoly, but Bible Memory Farm, and
Yeah.
like just these games that,
They're
as a Christian, it's
snooze
just
fest,
so
man.
hard.
Snooze fest. They're hard in the wrong. Like that's not the right way. That's not challenging. That's just like
It's so hard to get
painful.
into it. Like,
Yeah.
how do I convince somebody to play? I have to trick them
Mm-hmm.
to play this game with me. This one, I don't feel like I have to trick people into playing it because I can say it's a game about
and
biblical
we're not
history,
trying to trick people. We're just trying to play.
unless
games.
it's working. You know, I mean, like, but you know, I don't have to do that with this. It's like even if you don't buy into it, like, yeah, okay, whatever. Let's see if we can beat it.
Just play the game.
Let's just play the game. You look up the Bible reference. That's cool. If you don't, that's cool. We just want to get this game because it's a great game
Yep.
out in front of people. The same way we do with all the other games that we do here on Beer Bros.
Yep.
We want to show you things that we're interested in. And if you haven't noticed, we don't show you things that we are not interested in.
It's true.
We're not going to go and go, oh, this game kind of sucks. You know, it's I guess you can play it if you want to. We're always going to bring you games that we are excited about because we go out and we talk to those publishers and say, hey, can we highlight your game on our show? And that's commissioned.
Yep.
And you can get this on Amazon right now. So just go and look up Commission by Cara Games, CHARA. We'll have all that information in the show notes. And it's right here. It's beautiful. Like Matt said, there's another side to the board. We're not going to flip it over. I mean, we could table
I
flip.
wanted to. I almost did. I didn't want to pick up all the pieces. So you just get the game yourself and look at the other side of the board.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth the price of admission. But let us know in the comment section below what you thought about this game. Have you played it? Do you like it? What are other games like this that you think other people might enjoy? Because if you think about it, every game is a gateway game, and it leads to another thing. So maybe this will be the first game that comes into your house since Monopoly.
Bless up.
Wee, mamacita. So, but you know, what else, Matt? Is there anything that we're missing here? It's got an expansion coming. We've already said that.
I don't think so. I think just getting it to the table and playing it and.
These are all wooden, by the way.
Yeah.
We didn't mention that. These are little cardboard cutouts. The cards are small. These faith cards.
No, I think that's fine. I'm thinking like
I'm just like in comparison.
Yes, they are small, and they are small.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah. So these are our basic size meeple. Just kind of give you guys a little bit of understanding of the components. These player boards, they're thick. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know my cardboard sizes, but
That's at least one cardboard.
yeah, look at that. Well, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's thick. So I mean, it's quality stuff here.
I don't think there's anything else. I think we've kind of touched on all the highs.
Yeah, I mean, and who doesn't want a D8? So
I can think of one person.
I mean, if nothing else,
There you
go
go.
for the D8.
Six it.
Six it. Well, I mean, hey, seriously, let us know in the comment section what you guys think. And if you want a copy of this game, All you have to do is watch the co-optional this Saturday evening, and Matt and Aaron are going to be playing this. And if you share it and also like Kara Games and also like Love Thy Nerd on Facebook, then you'll be entered for a chance to win a copy of this game, and we'll ship it directly to your house because that's how the mail works.
That's exactly it. Thanks, Ben Franklin.
Yeah. Oh, did he invent the mail? More history. Did you learn that in National Treasure too?
No, I did. No.
Oh man. Hey guys, thanks for hanging out with us. We'll have another episode next week of the Beard Bros Game Show, and we are trying this format where we tape it ahead of time and send it out into your interwebs.
Pump those numbers, bro.
Pump them, pump it up. Because to be honest, it's easier for us. I know that it's easier. You had to drive down from Kentucky.
It's fine. I drove here. We're good. What's the problem?
I don't know if that's
it was some matter.
easier per se.
No,
it was
it's
easier
fine.
for me.
Oh, good.
But hey, thanks for hanging out with us. And in case nobody else tells you this, Jesus loves you, nerds.
Peace.